What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you with another PGF pre-show. I'm very excited that you guys are here. If this is your first day of watching any of the action with us here at the PGF League, we are very, very happy to have you. And I brought along two friends to help us preview some of the best grappling, frankly, in the world. Let's just get there first. I'm going to go on over to first, a person who we apparently do not talk to on this show enough. One, Jake Watson. Jake, how are you doing, sir?
Raph, I am glad that I had an opportunity for somebody to vouch for me myself. You know, I feel like I haven't got enough screen time. As the week has gone on, I've been feeling more and more the pull and the temptation to act like a diva, but I have an army. I have an army of people who are coming after you, so.
Yep, the leader and commander of that army is one AJ Agazarm. So,
you know. Union, by the way. I've never talked to him
just
about
want to
anything.
point it out. He's the one leading the charge, so whatever he says is truth, especially in the group chats, my guys. All right, let's go on over to Tim Freeman from Inside BJJ. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic today. I'm so stoked for day two. Day one was exciting enough. Day two is just about to happen, and we have three more after that, concluding with the big playoff. I can't believe it. It's here. Let's go, day two.
All right, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight to the board. That's what you're here for here at the pre-show, and we've got an exciting one for you. Let's go ahead and start with our very first talk pick, which is, what does the scoreboard look like? Now, we have several different scoreboards that we want to go through. I know it can be very confusing, but we're going to do our best to kind of walk you through it. We thought, though, we'd start by talking about who is ahead in the team standings. And we're going to start with you, Tim Freeman. Walk us through that, please.
So, actually, we're going individual performers on this. So, here we go. Individual performers, David Asari, 15 points from New Wave. This guy is putting on a serious clinic. He had the first bonus kill, which is you get your 6 points. Within the first minute, you get the additional bonus point. He also just missed it with Jamie Carnell. He was 2 seconds shy of getting that finish against Jamie Carnell. He would have had 7 points there. When you add in the team points that you earn as a bonus for each point that your team wins, the athletes get these added to their accumulated score. Asari's with 15. Varela's followed up with 12, which is crazy. He called that out yesterday. He said he was going to score 12 points. He did a nice job at that. We also see David Evers slipping in the pack there. I think he's around 9. Daniel Sattler's at 11, and Ben Eddy's in there at 4. So we got some names that we thought would be there, and we have some names that we didn't think should be there. And I don't want to forget Jet Thompson, the kid. He's also on the board with 4.
Very good. Thank you so much for that recap. And now we're actually going to go down, and I'm going to do the teams. My apologies, sir. Did I say you were going to do the teams?
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh. Yikes. All right. Senile is happening real quick. Didn't know it. Got to do more crosswords in between the shows. All right. I'm going to walk you through the teams. So we went through the individuals, but there are teams, and this is an important aspect to know because the teams basically are going up against each other in duels. So if they do end up getting people who maybe didn't get a submission, they could still get a point, as Tim mentioned. But in the standings on that, you have Black Rifle with 0. The pressure is on them today. You have Epic Roll with 12, First Form with 13, and leading the charge. A lot of you thought, not very impressive on paper, Marshall, and yet here they are at 22 points. So just goes to show how much people actually know. You got to see it play through. And yes, we're going to show you how much people can or cannot know because we ourselves did a fantasy draft. So to give you an update on that, we go to one, Jake Watson.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the fantasy draft and the teams that were put together. Let's pull up the first team because we each had our own team. Team Freeman, Mr. Tim Freeman, put together Elijah Carlton, Cam Hurd, Mike John, Jet Thompson, and Samson Palmabout. And I got to say, all those the people on those teams, I believe every one of them, minus Jet Thompson, struggled a little bit in their first day at the PGF World, but Jet Thompson really came up with a big victory. He's somebody we'll talk about later. Let's move on to let's move on to how much points they actually scored. Let's pull up that unit right here. Once we have it, sorry, to how many points they scored, Rafa Esparza.
Right up here.
7 points. That's the total for Team Freeman. So, Tim, looking okay, I would say. Looking all right. But let's move on to the next team. So, if we look at the next team, actually my team, John Combs, Renato Canuto, Daniel Sadler, AJ Agazarm, and Nathan Haddad. Now, I picked my team, and I was very confident in my team, and I think that they're still going to do well. I think Daniel Sadler really showed out in a huge way. When I got to pick him in the fantasy draft, I was sure that he was going to do a great job, and he really came out guns blazing. So let's take a look at my point total, because I believe Daniel Sadler is the exclusive point provider, and he scored 14 points. So pretty good day for Team Watson if you're thinking about the head-to-head between me and Tim. Anyway, moving on. Team Egghead, he's not here on the pre-show with us, but he is going to be featured on commentary, so keep an eye out for that as well. But he picked PJ Barch, Max Hansen, Davis Asare, Jamie Carnell, and Matt Elkins. Another tale sort of similar to mine where Davis Asare was the main point provider there, and PJ Barch, Max Hansen both being a part of Team Black Rifle. 0 points yesterday, but they're poised to do some pretty good work today. We'll see. And Matt Elkins had a pretty all right showing as well yesterday. Very impressed with him, actually. Let's take a look at Egghead's total. 15 points for him. That puts him in the lead.
That's one more than you.
That is one more than me. I can do math.
Okay. Just I want to make sure
that you know you're not number one.
No, I understand that. Let's take a look at Team Esparza. So 26 point total for Team Esparza right off the rip. If anybody was wondering how much better he was doing, Raph, Andy Varela, Kevin Buring, Ben Eddy, and Kevin Sherrill, and David Evers. He picked two pretty good picks right there, Andy Varela and David Evers. It's a pretty, I just got to say, I think every single one of these guys scored some points, right? Yeah, so that's nice. Go back to your seat. So that's the fantasy draft. Raph, why don't you move on to the next segment and take your seat of humility?
Wow, what a good moderator, Jake. A moderator in waiting that you might be someday. No reason. I just wanted to get up there, and I wanted to let my team know that you guys are coming through for me, and I appreciate you. So right here to Team Esparza. I love you guys. All right, let's get back to the real news. We want to go through the submissions of the night. Now, granted, there is a G-Shock submission of the night, an official one.
Okay.
And I have not heard what it is yet, so we're going to find out if we can tell you guys who ended up getting that. But before we do, I want to go through who we had as submission of the night. So why don't we go ahead and start with you over here, Jake, for submission of the night, sir.
So I think the submission of the night came from the young man, the 17-year-old Jet Thompson. It can't be overstated how big of a victory it was versus John Combs. He started out with a leg lock, turned it into an ankle lock, and then as John Combs pulls his leg out, transitions it to what's called an Aoki lock, which is a very dangerous submission. It's very painful. And to take out John Combs in your first match of the PGF World Season 6 sends a huge statement. And not to mention, he also had a great match versus PJ Barch, the number 1 seed of the entire tournament. I think he's really, really impressive to watch, and I'm excited to see him continue.
Beautiful. Tim, who do you have as your submission of the night?
You know, I think that's a great pick. I do like the kid Jet Thompson, but I went with David Asari and the back triangle against Jamie Carnell. For one, he's got Elijah Carlton in his corner coaching him to forego the arm lock and go for the triangle because it's a kill and you get 6 points instead of 3. This is a guy in Carlton that was defeated by Asari last year, not too long ago, by a toe hold, and now he turns around and coaches him to a victory. It's a tough submission to get. It's not easy, and it's easy to get summit fever. You see the arm, you jump on the arm, you lose the arm, and now there's no points. But Carlton coached him through it. He walked away with almost 7 points. He just missed that bonus point by 2 seconds there, so I got to go with the kid, David Asari.
All right, guys. This is tough because I have privileged information. I have just been informed who is being given submission of the night. And honestly, it was the guy I had.
Oh, right, of course.
100%. This is, I put it down on paper. You can prove it. It's a hermetically sealed envelope. You can prove it.
Let me see it.
We'll show it to you off air. We have no TV time to do that. But I'm happy to report Daniel Sadler was able to take away the submission of the night. And I got to tell you, he was on fire yesterday. I was very impressed by him. And I can tell you this. He is one of the recipients, I believe, of a G-Shock little watch, if you would. And I think that's very, very dope. And I have to tell you, there's no part of me that was G-Shocked. He was the one that ended up getting the bonus that night. You're welcome. I get paid in rubies. That's all I'm saying. Thank you to G-Shock for making it so that our athletes get something special whenever they do something incredible. But you know what? Time is about expired there. Let's go to our next topic, which is anticipation. Guys, what match are you most looking forward to today? I'm going to start with you, Jake Watson.
So Max Hansen and Daniel Sadler have shared the mats once before. Daniel Sadler would win that first encounter with a flying triangle, an incredibly dynamic submission, and that is sort of foreshadowing his performances here at the PGF World. So that was a huge victory for Daniel Sadler, and Max Hansen, following that loss to Sadler, would go on a tear, winning Grand Prix, $10,000 cash prizes, competing at the top level, making it to the semifinals of ADCC West Coast Trials. So he has had an incredible era forthcoming from that loss to Daniel Sadler that was just rife with submission victories. He's leveled up considerably. Daniel Sadler is looking incredible this event. I think the stage is set for an epic rematch, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good call on that one. Tim?
I gotta go with PJ Barch versus Andy Varela. This is a matchup that features two 10th Planet teammates, which is already kind of hard enough. They're two big names. They both went for top dollar in the draft. There's a lot of pressure coming into it, pressure to perform. The tension's so high that their coach, Eddie Bravo, their actual coach in real life jiu-jitsu and regular day-to-day, pulled out from being a coach of the event to avoid this exact scenario where he would have to coach one over the other. We know that Varela barely edged Barch out at the West Coast Trials in 2022. I'm sure Barch would like to get that back. Varela's already told me this morning that he predicts 12 points, and God willing, he'll walk away with 18, which means he would really like to put a choke on PJ Barch. But I think we're going to see a different Barch today. I think he's going to come out and make a statement. That's the one I'm looking for.
Great idea. All right, guys, I got to tell you, I don't like to ever say that I trump you unless it's in fantasy.
Right.
But I got a better matchup that I'm actually very, very excited to see. And it's one that comes from the streets. This is breaking news, of course. But there has been a lot of chirping in the chat between Kevin Sherrill and Elijah Carlton. Like, it's actually bleeding into real life at this point. They have been going back and forth. Kevin has recently updated his social media to show some of the conversations that's happening privately. And I got to tell you this. As long as everything ends up on the mats, great. But it is part of the reason why I think today you're going to see a more aggressive stalling call series from not only our commissioner, but from some of our judges and referees. So if you guys were looking for any matches, we'll try and have a camera on at all times. But I can tell you with some confidence that's becoming a reality. And I'm letting you know that I believe Kevin Sherrill did offer to waive the mat fee if Elijah Carlton wanted to go visit his gym. Which at this point, guys, I'm going to get like Power 106, the local Los Angeles rap station, where we got to increase the pace, guys. Let's all be chill. Let's just beat each other up here, and let's hopefully not kill each other. But if you do kill each other on the mats on our screens. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's go to our next one. Our next topic is this. Stock. What we want to know right now is we want to know whose rankings went up and down based on day one performances. I'm going to start over with you, Jake. Who had one up and who had one down?
Man, so I would say if stock is going to go up, I'm looking at Nathan Haddad. And I know that that is a name that a lot of people probably weren't considering coming into the PGF world, but nearly submitting PJ Barch to the triangle and displaying not only incredible grit, but incredible submission defense. Yeah, he didn't score any points, but no one scored points on him either, and he did not have an easy road yesterday, so I think his stock went up. And if stock is going to go down, I know that he vouched for me earlier, but I am going to say that I do think AJ Agazarm's stock went down a tiny bit. He was doing the antics, playing the heel, stirring the pot, as he is very good at doing, but it did look like he struggled a little bit out there in this environment of competition, and I am looking forward to seeing his stock go back up because I'm rooting for AJ's stock to go up a little bit.
He's definitely rooting for your stock to go up higher on this broadcast, I can tell
Probably
you that.
Not now.
Not now. Oh, no. He was with you until he wasn't.
Yeah.
Tim, who do you have?
Well, this might sound like a little smooch to the higher-ups, but I'm going with the commish, Brandon McCatherine. And here's why. 3 things. The first thing is he called for the replay tap on David Evers versus Kevin Beering. It looks like a scratch tap to me, but, was he scratching? Was he tapping? We're not sure. But he stepped up and he made a decision, and that's what is important. He took control of the situation when it needed to. The second thing he did is he called the stall on AJ Agazarm. And AJ was chattering and bantering and having a good time and pointing things out, but he was kind of stalling on the reset. He wouldn't let Beering get set up exactly how he needed to be set up. and the commish threw the flag. AJ didn't like it, but Brandon stuck to his guns, and I think it demonstrated that, hey, there will be some changes in Season 6. And then the last thing, which probably was the most controversial, is he called the guard jump DQ against Daniel Sattler in the final match there. And obviously it's a tough way to do it, but he made the decision. He did the replay. It looked like the right thing. And what I was most impressed with is that he called a meeting with the athletes after the event. He sat down and talked to them, explained to them what he was doing, and then he thanked them for being a part of the PGF Season 6 and being so great and being so sweet and being so forgiving. He pulled it off. My pick, Brandon McCatherine.
It's times like this that I'm very happy I instituted a shot clock on this show because I was wondering how long the ass kissery was going to go on. But I think you're right, BMAC. I think it's a very tough position to be in. We'll see how they overcorrect it today. I'll do mine very quickly. I think up, you got to look at Jet Thompson. I think down, and I want to qualify this. I think it's just because he came in as the number one. PJ went down, but I think PJ had the best response, which is no pressure. It was day one. And I want you guys to remember that in the chat. This is only one day of competition. You could still get as much as 21 to 27 points, depending on how things shake out. So when you're really looking at day one action, don't get fixated. Things can happen very quickly. And the Butter Panther gave a great interview today where he said, I know I didn't get any points today, but I'm not even bothered by it. And I have to say that's the right mentality. So that just goes to show how long he's been around the game. So props to you, PJ. We're all rooting for you on the show. Go do big things, brother. Let's go to our next one, which is return on investment. So I think we're just going to be all in agreement here. Yes. Is that what we're doing?
I think so.
So why don't we just do this one in 1 minute? And I'm going to actually give you 20 seconds each to say why. Tim, why are you picking who you're picking for the best return on investment?
Do you want me to tell you who I'm picking?
Yes.
I'm picking David Evers. Yeah. Easy. The guy was a steal, and he came out and scored 7 points for his team. No question about it. David Evers, best value of the tournament so far.
Jake Watson.
$200 to draft the Season 3 champ, and you're going to get that value out of it. He's coming with the desire to absolutely take this entire tournament. He's leveled up so much since Season 3, and he's showing it, Rav.
You absolutely are correct. And I want to give a big shout out to a friend of the show who actually texted me, one of the geniuses. And I say that, and I do mean it. Like, he's legit one of the funniest human beings in all of jiu-jitsu. But the very funny guy behind MMA, or mixed martial artish, Bobby, sent me a note that says, shout out David Evers, who's already clocking in at 35 points per cost in 1,000. So what that means is his return on investment at 35 points for every 1,000 that they spent on him has been incredible. So Bobby, thank you so much for that stat. I was so geeked that other people are playing this well in the fantasy element. It shows that they're really trying to figure out like who was bet and who was bet on, and how are they returning on that? And I just love that. I love these stats coming in. So please feel free to go ahead and give me more of those to friends of the show. Let's go to a little thing called Say What. I want to know, because I'm hearing strange things around the mats. There's a lot of grunts. There's a lot of like crazy things that are being uttered or said. But I want to know what it is that you guys have heard either around the mats from the athletes or just around this place in general that maybe the audience doesn't know. I'm going to start with you, Jake.
So AJ Agazarm's stock did go up in terms of being very interesting to watch on TV because, my gosh, the guy can talk. He was put in so many dangerous situations, and my favorite thing that I heard across the weekend was when he was put, I forget who he was fighting, so I do apologize, but he was grappling, and he was put in a footlock situation. It might have been David Evers, actually, and he said, oh, no, not the footlock, and it led to a laugh from the crowd. There was another moment when he looked at somebody, just stared them down when they coached against him. He's playing the crowd very well. He's playing the heel very well, and he definitely has led to some funny moments.
It is definitely why he is the person photoed up here. So there is that. Tim, what do you have for us?
You know, I have two things, but one is really short, but I'm going to start with the long one. The long one is Jet Thompson asking his dad if he remembered to write him a note so he could call out of school. He said he's got a home ec test that he can't miss. He's trying to learn how to sew a button on a shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, this kid had to take a week off of school to get out here and to overhear that conversation made me chuckle. And the last one was something we actually all talked about last night, which is Jean-Jacques coaching Ben Eddy to do the thing, Ben Eddy, do the thing.
I mean, legitimately, I've heard that a lot, so I know what the thing is. I just love the fact that if you're him, you can just produce that magic very quickly. My person is actually John Combs. I want him mic'd up at all times. I don't know if it's feasible. I don't know that it's good. A lot of you were complaining that you could hear the little chord from one of our commentators yesterday, so maybe you wouldn't like it. But I promise you, the noises I'm hearing are cartoon character-esque. When John Combs went over, he's like, oh, hey, buddy, it's okay. All good, homie. When he got hit, he's just letting people know. He is a sideshow into himself, and I swear to you guys, it is one of the funniest people to listen to and just a good human being. So very excited about that. Let's go to our next topic. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this one because yesterday we had the commish show up with us. And I got to thinking, he was explaining his whole thought process on what it is he did for his call and why those controversial moments could be reined in. So I ask both of you, if you could institute one new rule as commissioner, what would it be?
Who are you going to ask first?
Hold on. I just got a little buzz in the ear right now. So it's actually going to be Tim Freeman.
Hey, so here's what I would do. Because the commish came out and said he's going to be more aggressive with the stall calls, there's a lot of finger pointing and people going to start trying to call stalls themselves. It would be the he who smelt it dealt it rule. And what that means is if you call a stall, you get a stall. No pointing out your opponent's stall because that's stalling in and of itself. So that's my rule. He who smelt it, dealt it. Call a stall, get a stall.
Awesome. Jake, what do you have for us, sir?
So I think this one is a rule that I would apply only to the finals, which will be airing on Friday live on UFC Fight Pass. If I can make one change, I would appeal to the minds of the bloodthirsty animals in the comments section who are calling for combat jiu-jitsu in the overtime section. Perhaps if it does go to overtime, then it's combat jiu-jitsu time. Palm strikes are available for everybody to use. I think it would add to some interesting dynamics. Maybe some people would really fight hard for overtime, but with the pressure of the stalling call, it'd be harder to get there. I think it would force the action, and it would definitely be interesting and bridge the gap between the people who love MMA and the people who love jiu-jitsu.
All right, here's my version of what I would do if I was commissioner. It's pretty simple. A lot of these guys like to plead their case. And yesterday with Brandon, we were saying, you know what you should do? You should take this spin-off element and you should create a law court show, like a courtroom-esque drama. So what I'm thinking is if these guys are really complaining about stalling, they should be able to make their case to a court. Brandon should sit up top like he is, and they should make their case and be like, Commish, I believe I was in the right here. You could see clearly that my foot was engaging, his was backing away. And then you let a prosecution and defense. You can not only get the sponsors to be a part of it, but they could actually be the prosecution and defense lawyers. So no off portion to the genius switch up here, guys. Just letting you know, that's something that I would contribute, and that's why nobody has made me a commissioner of this league yet. Let's go to our next and final topic, everybody. And our last one is, what have people been saying online? We called this one the gallery, otherwise known as the peanut gallery, because we have eyes and ears. We know that people are talking about this exact thing that's happening right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at what people have been saying online, and we'll read these. I believe the first one is actually a haiku. It says, AJ got hit with a stalling call for trying to. Game to reset. IMO.
That's not a haiku.
Hold on, bro.
No,
what is
it?
It's
five.
I know the syllables are there.
What are you, a haiku auditor?
No, I have a wife who's an English teacher.
Well, hold on. It's also not about the environment, which is really what haikus are. However, it was slamming AJ, so I'm going to let it stand. Yeah. It was enough syllables.
It's a BJJ haiku.
It's a BJJ AJ haiku, everybody. All right, cool. Let's check out our next comment. This one was, Kevin Buehring tries to get away with the Brazilian tap out of a Texas cloverleaf. The go-to, the replay, and they call it a sub. I mean, they are actually saying what happened, but I think that was the collective consensus is that they believe, the internet, that Kevin Buehring did tap. It's a bit of source of controversy, and I won't bother negating whether we thought it was or wasn't. It kind of was.
It was a scratch tap.
It's a scratch tap. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to our next one. Jake, you have to read this one.
Oh, So what it says is, estão roubando pro salsicha.
What does that mean?
They're stealing the sausage. What I don't know.
Better get someone on that.
I heartily disagree with the usage there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just I'm trying to see if there's
Nope,
maybe
we're good on the Google
translation.
Translate.
Where did you actually pull that comment from?
I don't know.
From the UFC Fight Pass YouTube comment section.
Let's pull up our next comment. And somebody put up, is this boxing? It is not, sir. I'm very sorry. Usual Civilization Destroyer. This is not boxing. We do have a version of that kind called Combat Jiu-Jitsu, which you can see TJ and Brandon always commentating. Yeah. And it's very good. We even have Eddie Bravo here, so we have that. And the last one, guys. I think this one's my favorite. It says, no lie, I don't train every day, but I would beat a lot of these guys, respectfully speaking.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny?
It's good. You know what? I believe you. I want to point this out. It's the respectfully speaking at the end that I think solidifies it. Jake, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that after this comment, he got roasted so hard that he didn't comment again. And it was like, everybody was like, where's your videos, man? Where's your YouTube channel with your rolling footage? I feel kind of bad a little bit, actually.
You should. Why do you feel bad?
I don't feel bad
I just feel like people like that are allowed to drive.
I'm just saying.
This guy said he's going to take you, dude.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
That's when you see this come off and become a gi very quickly
the streets
from the black belt Jake Watson. Don't forget that, people.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for us here. I want to thank Jake. I want to thank Tim. You guys have been excellent. And we will be back here after the action tonight. So don't go anywhere. We are going to start with day 2 action. We have some banger matches. It has been a pleasure chatting with you guys. We will see you a little bit back after that action. We appreciate you. My name is Rafa Esparza. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.